Hello and welcome back to the Shorter Realtor. My name is Anthony Esparza and I have special guest Keith Callister.
You could just call me guest. Special seems like overkill.
He's a special guest. And this is actually my broker. He's the boss of me, so I can't...
Slow down. You just described broker entirely wrong. But
No, just kidding. So we're going to talk about what it means to be a broker with Keith today. I don't know if you'd like to introduce yourself.
I'm Keith. Hi. I'm the principal broker at Unity Group Real Estate. We have the privilege of having Anthony here as part of our team. It's kind of a pipe dream of a thing where we put it together, and now we got a really cool space and a bunch of really cool people working together to make the real estate industry just a little bit better than it has been. So
there you go. Yeah, doing a great job at it. So first off, a lot of the viewers might not know the difference between your average real estate agent and your average real estate broker. So what is a real estate broker?
A real estate broker makes less money. No. So in the state of Utah, real estate agents are required to have their license hung with a broker. A broker is just basically a more experienced agent. So there's two types of licensure. You've got your real estate agent license. That's the license that you've got, where you are licensed to sell real estate and receive a commission based on the sale of real property. A real estate broker has to have been in a real estate agent for at least 3 years and have done a mandatory number of transactions. There's points you get for each type of transaction to show that they have a basic knowledge of real estate. Then they can start their own brokerage. Where I'm the principal broker here. That means that basically everything begins and ends with me. Like even your agreements with your clients are actually with me, and then you're acting as my subsidiary in that regard. You're a contractor, really, is how it works. But by law, in the state of Utah, you as a real estate agent, you have to have your license with a principal broker. So my job is to oversee your transactions, make sure that all your paperwork is correct, make sure that you're complying with the law, make sure that you're not taking advantage of people, that sort of a thing. It's also to support you in the building of your business and to make sure that I'm doing everything I can to help you to be as successful as possible.
Right.
And that's an important aspect of what we do at Unity. Myself and Matt, the other broker here, is to make sure that we're supporting our people and putting them first before the company. So that's one of the different things we do here is that Unity is it's always about us helping you build your business, not trying to find ways to take advantage of you to help us build ours.
Exactly, yeah. That's something I noticed right off the bat when I ended up joining Unity. How long were you an agent before you became a broker? What made you really decide, I should get my broker's license and start a brokerage?
Well, so I got into real estate by flipping houses.
Okay.
I did that for a couple of years. I didn't like it. You can go watch Flip or Flop or all those terrible HGTV shows. They lie a lot. It's a lot more difficult and you make a lot less money than you think you're going to. I had a group that I had helped start, and we were working on probably 3 homes at a time. Did that for a number of years. I didn't like it. It was obvious I didn't like it, to the point where my business partners invited me to no longer be partners with them, which was the first time that had ever happened to me. I've always been top dog, right?
Yeah.
And that's when I decided to get my license, and that would have been in 2006. So I got my real estate license in 2006. And I was a real estate agent. And I worked out of my basement. I was quiet. I was this hermit.
Can I cut you off?
Yeah.
So you got your license in 2006.
Yeah.
You lived through that market crash. Real quick, what was that like? Was it tough for you at those times?
I'll get there.
You made it.
I'll get there.
Okay.
Well, because I already had connections in the real estate investment world, right? So I just got my license, started selling houses, and I closed 17 transactions in my first year. And I was like, I'm better at this than I was at flipping houses. And it's really true, because I was just better at helping people.
Mm-hmm.
And as a real estate investor, I couldn't ever square my heart with what you have to do as a real estate investor, because you have to get the lowest possible price in order to maximize your profits. And in that way, you're really sometimes not acting in the other person's best interest. And something I'm just hardwired to do is to act in other people's best interest, sometimes to a fault. So with that, I went out and I did really well. And then the market crash occurred, and I lost a bunch of money because I had one last flip I was working on that I lost all of my equity in 3 days when Bear Stearns folded. But I had already started to set a baseline for helping people. And so I lost $40,000 in that transaction, in that particular home, got it sold and got it gone, but I was out everything I'd put into it. But I was still helping people, and I'd already developed a reputation for being helpful and making sure I was doing the right thing. And so even though I lost all of that money, I was never without business through the market crash. And that's a testament to the way that you should do business, in my opinion, is that if you always put other people, their interests first, the way you should as an agent, right? Their interests need to come first. But if you always actually do that, you're going to be okay. And if you can build a reputation of being the type of person who helps people and solves people's problems, you're always going to be okay. So getting through that market crash wasn't really that big of a deal. I've had worse years since then than I had during the market crash. You know, and usually those bad years have come when I've lost sight of what's actually important.
Yeah. And so you made it through all those years, kind of built a good reputation, built a good foundation and base for yourself as this real estate agent, transitioning as a real estate investor. And one point it hit you and you're just like, I'm so good at helping people.
No.
I'm going to go get my broker's license.
That is not what happened at all.
You've told me the story
I know.
off of podcast.
I know. But you know that's not what happened at all. I never wanted to be a real estate broker, primarily because for most of my career I didn't like real estate agents. As a group, we have a bad reputation. We have a bad reputation for a reason. And I never wanted to be I liked helping clients. I didn't want to be the contact point for a whole group of people that I didn't like. And then I was at the same real estate brokerage for the first 10 years of my career. And in 2016, the broker that I had over at this other company, they started their own brokerage. And I was like the third person to join their brokerage. I just took a chance on that. And this particular brokerage started to attract some really, really cool people. People that weren't industry standard, people that weren't the used car salesman type or the cold calling, the Wolf of Wall Street type of real estate agents. And I realized that there were actually some really cool people in the industry. Because previously, like I said, I just sort of was working in my basement being a hermit. I was ignoring everybody. Because I didn't want to talk to them. I didn't want to talk to them about anything other than the transaction we were working on. And I would close my 20 or 30 transactions a year. Nobody knew who I was, and that's the way I liked it. But then I went to this conference in California in late 2016. And it was one of those rah-rah, Tony Robbins, pump you up sort of things. And I tell people to go once. Don't go twice. Because the second time I went, it was not great. But the first time I went, I realized that I was just sort of not taking the next step that I needed to in terms of the impact that I could have in my own life, but not just that, but on the industry as a whole. And so I walked out of there. This would have been November of 2016. I walked out of there being like, all right, I'm going to become a broker now. And by January 1st, I had my broker's license. And then I very slowly started to build a branch brokerage at the company I was at. And so that's the short version of how I became a broker. The long version involves, from that point, Matt, my business partner here, he also had a brokerage at that same company, a branch brokerage. And at one point, probably one of the lowest points in my life, so I'd broken my leg and I couldn't work and it was just, everything was terrible. He approached me about merging our two branches. And that's how Unity really started, is because Matt's really good at the things I'm not good at, and I'm really good at the things he's not good at. And between the two of us, we're able to really create something that's remarkable and pretty phenomenal. Something that I have a lot of pride in.
Kind of like a yin yang. That's kind of.
And well, it is,
You guys complement each other really well.
And if you're going to have a business partner, it's got to be that way.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right. And you guys have built something pretty amazing. For me, watching a business being built. When I joined Unity, you guys were already going for two to 3 months. I got my license in May.
Yeah, we opened in March.
You guys opened in March. And when I joined, and you guys were like, so we have about 60 agents right now. And I was like, man, how long have these guys been in business? And then I didn't find out till later. They started in March of this year.
Well, and we had the other branch, and to be fair, some of our people from the other branch did come over with us when we left the other company. And that was a pretty painful thing to do. I mean, change is always painful.
Yeah, it is.
So leaving that company, because what happened was we got on board with the vision that they gave us. And it seemed at the time like they were, and history has borne this out, that we're correct. I'm going to adjust that. History bore this out. They weren't sticking to their original course the way that at least the way Matt and I interpreted it. And so we felt like we were still going just straight on following the course, and we felt like the company as a whole was going this way. And that's why we left, ultimately, the other company and started Unity Group, because we wanted to be able to stay that course and build the remarkable thing in the way that we thought would be most remarkable.
Yeah.
And that's how we end up here.
Yeah. So Unity Group Real Estate is pretty unlike any other brokerage, as for what I've seen so far.
I think so. And it's not just because I'm a big weirdo, but
yeah, no, and it's not. You guys really built it in a different sense and a different attitude towards the people who are going to be, underneath you. And
well, let me walk you back there.
Okay, walk me back.
Well, no, just because like a lot of like when you say like he's the boss or what have you, and I tell you got that wrong.
Yeah.
What happens was really prevalent in the industry is the broker sees themselves as like the overlord of his little serfs, right?
Yeah.
Like, go out, serfs, and make me money, because whenever you close a transaction, that's when I get compensated, right?
Yeah.
Like you close and I get paid. And a lot of brokers like start to look at you like you're their little worker bees, and they try to treat you like you're their worker bees. But the reality is, based on the contract that we have, and based on the legal relationship that we have, we work for you. So when everybody, we have a lot of agents who call me boss, and I'm like, that's not true.
I've always said that. I work for you.
Yeah, but the reality is, you guys are our clients in the same way that your clients are yours, right? When you're helping somebody buy or sell a home, you work for them. Yeah. They don't work for you. And then they compensate you for the support and the guidance and everything that you give them. Yeah. It's the exact same thing that we're dealing with.
Something. For any aspiring brokers, you guys need to listen to this. This is a wise man right here.
Well, no, it's just
one of my mentors.
it gets upside down for people. Yeah. Broker's not a step up. Yeah. It's a step into support. And it's not a step down. It's a step into a support role. And now you're supporting your people. And if you support your people well, you'll be able to build something cool. Then they will be able to go and produce and compensate you for that support. But if you expect them to just go out and cut you a check all the time, you're not going to retain people. And we have a really great retention rate as a result of that.
It's almost like a lot of brokers kind of get the image twisted of what role they actually play. You know what I mean?
They most assuredly do.
And it can be a thing of judgment, honesty, wherever that comes from, greed. But it's like there's a lot of brokerages out there I know, and brokers kind of get it twisted as to where they stand and what they should be doing for their people. As a whole, and it's like you guys are so different, so down to earth. You want to help any way you can. I mean, there's not one time I've tried to get a hold of you guys didn't answer. Like maybe I can't.
We don't always answer, but we'll always get back to you quickly.
Yeah, between the two of you, I can always get a hold of you guys.
Well,
which is really cool.
That was kind of part of the way we set it up, having both Matt and myself available and as knowledgeable as he and I both are. Like I could fake the humility and stuff right now, but I know real estate. I know what I'm doing. I know the law. I know the process. I know how to help people, navigate that. So I'm good at that, and that allows me to be responsive and be quick. And a lot of times, we can support our people in as little as 2.5 minutes on a phone call or a 30-second text or whatever it might be. Speech to text has made that like way faster, because I can rattle off a whole paragraph in 15 seconds and that'll have all the information you need. So.
Okay, yeah, that's good. So, are there parts you hate about your job? Parts you love about it?
Well, there's parts you love and hate about any job. I never thought I'd like doing this as much as I do.
And that does shine through.
I really didn't think that I would love being a broker as much as I do. But it's hard sometimes. Like the hardest part of the job is when you have a conflict between agents. And it's not always that our people are right. Most often our people are right because we've been supporting them through all of this. But there's been times where we've had to tell our agents that they're in the wrong or that they need to fix it. And it's hard because you have to be really diplomatic about that. You just can't say to somebody, hey, stop being a dumbass, right? Yeah. Well, I say that to you, but you would have a different mentor-mentee relationship. I don't know. You have to take care of people in the way that they're most comfortable being taken care of. Yeah. Right? And so some people, they need kind of those outbursts. You need to be told when you're being stupid, But there are other of our agents where I can't be that blunt with them because they communicate in a different way, And so when somebody needs guidance and they need guidance in a real way when they've made a big mistake, talking to them in the way that they're going to best receive that can be difficult. It can be a hard tightrope to walk because I'm a good communicator, but sometimes I just want to tell you when you're being stupid.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can't. Or sometimes even they pick up what you're saying and they push back. So the hardest part of the job is walking that line of guidance, and support, but making sure that people are doing the right thing and making sure that they know when they're not, so you can educate them so that in the future that they will be doing the right thing.
Yeah. Is it stressful being a broker?
Yes. Sometimes.
Just kind of what you just spoke about a minute ago. It sounds like, there's a fine line of how to say things to certain people, depending on their personalities and stuff like that.
I don't know that that's the stress. The stress is just making sure that, well, for me, like I'm neurotic and I have I have self-esteem issues and all sorts of things, right? And so part of my style of support comes from this fear that people are going to be like, your brokerage sucks and we're going to leave, right? Yeah. And that's probably the biggest tension I've got to hold, is because I know I'm a good broker.
Yeah.
And I know that if I don't respond to you in 30 seconds, you're going to be okay. Now, if I wait 3 days, you're going to be dissatisfied, right? Yeah. But if you got to wait a couple of hours, it's going to be okay. And that's the most stressful part to me, because I want to support everybody and answer everybody's questions right now in the moment. I want to take care of everybody who needs me in that moment. But I'm just one person, and that's just one person. And we're also human beings, right? We present ourselves as somewhat superhuman, but the most stressful part is balancing a lot of my personal neuroses with making sure that my people are taken care of.
Yeah.
So
something I've noticed that's kind of cool about you and Matt is it's like all of all of us agents. You
can say our. We're a family.
We're a group, whatever. All of us agents can go to you or Matt for anything. Like it's like some agents will go on to the agent Facebook page and ask questions, or ask other agents before they ask their brokers. They don't get that good broker support, and that's something really unique. Because between the two of you, and how many agents are you guys at now?
93.
93 agents. You guys have to, be able to manage all the questions and phone calls that you get, and you probably get them all day long. Just like when Keith sat down in here, he had to put his phone on Do Not Disturb because it was buzzing every 30 seconds. When we were trying to start
I set that up to impress you, Anthony.
Yeah, right. But you get what you get the gist. It's like you guys really go out of your way to show agents, how much you care for them and their well-being. Make sure they get their questions answered. Make sure they get their support.
That's really at the heart of all of this, right? Because we actually do care about our people.
Yeah.
The people that we sign, the people that come onto the company, they're typically not industry standard agents, right? They've never felt like they fit. A lot of times we've called it the island of misfit toys, because you can do really well in real estate, but the industry has told you that you have to do it a certain way. This is how you get deals. You have to do this many phone calls to get this many appointments. If you have this many appointments, you should be able to sign this many clients. And have this many clients signed, you should be able to sell this many houses. So if 100 phone calls equals one sale, then if you want to sell 20 homes that year, you've got to make 2,000 phone calls. Yeah. And I don't believe business is done that way. Business is a person-to-person situation, and you need to come to it with caring and as yourself, so that your people that you work with, the people that become your clients, that become your friends, that become that weird sort of family that you carry around in this industry,
right?
That they know that you care, because that matters more than anything else. It matters more than how much you know. As you know, as when you're a new agent, you don't know anything. Yeah. But if you care about your clients and you care about their outcomes, you can get the support. And that's our agents who are newer agents. They do really well, and we do take a little bit of credit for that, because we know, as you got started, and you've done really well out the gate. But as you got started, you knew that you could just act, and then if you didn't know what was next, you could call us, and that you get an answer fast enough that you looked good to your client and you could take care of them. Mm-hmm. But all that matters to you, the client, is that you are there for them and you care about their best interests first, and that you're not going to push them to do anything that's not good for them. Yeah. That matters more than anything. And it's the same way that we grow Unity and grow our brokerage, is the way that we try and teach all of you guys to grow your businesses. And that's by being exactly who you are and showing up for the people in your life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When I look at Unity and what you and Matt have created, it's super unique and unlike any other brokerage I've seen. When I was finishing up my real estate school, I went and met with a few brokers got phone calls all day long. You know how it goes, right? The cold calls.
I do. I didn't go to the thing at the end of school where all the brokers meet you. I met with maybe 2 brokers, but I already knew where I was going.
Yeah. So and you guys were just like so different, took such a different approach, and the part that attracted me to Unity was like the just like the magnetism of just being a good person, and really like at the end of the day, if you can be a good person, no matter what it is. It almost seems like, your business will always grow that way.
Yep.
And how many phone calls, how many phone calls do you do a day? Cold calls.
I don't cold call.
Yeah, see, that's how real estate wants it to be.
And there are people that works for, right? Like I don't want to knock cold calls, right? Yeah. It's just for most people, it seems that's not a way that they want to do business.
Yeah.
It's not comfortable for them. People are like, oh, get used to discomfort. I'm like, man, I'm uncomfortable all the time.
Yeah.
But the reality is, if I can go and acquire clients in a way that's more consistent with the person that I am, I'm going to do that. So some people are great on the phone and they don't mind it. That was soul crushing for me. And a lot of the people here, they just can't do business that way. Not because they're not able to do scary or uncomfortable things, but because it's counter to the person that they are on the inside. If you've ever complained about a telemarketer calling you, you shouldn't be making phone calls.
Mm-hmm.
But if when a telemarketer calls you during dinner and you pick up and you're like stoked to talk to them, great, you're a cold call guy. But if you're somebody who is doing that, you can't complain about other people doing it.
Yeah. 100% true.
Because that just means you shouldn't be doing it either.
Right.
And you have that dissonance between yourself and nobody can be happy. Like I had a friend of mine who asked me, like, who's your ideal agent, right? Like, and he runs a big team. He's a great dude. And I realized that our ideal agent sells the amount of houses that they want to sell, and they wake up every day in love with their life. Because it's not about selling 40 or 50 or 60 or 100 houses a year. It's about making sure you can provide for your family, you can provide a service to the people that you're taking care of, and then you can wake up every day excited and happy with the person that you are.
Yeah.
But if you wake up dreading work because you got to go make 100 cold calls or what have you, what kind of life is that? There's no, you can make a bunch of money in real estate, but what's the point? There's no point in making a bunch of money if you hate your life.
Mm-hmm.
And so if we can teach people to create the income that they want, but also to be in love with their life, God, see, that's the win.
That's the goal.
The win, and the compensation rush comes as a result of that, but the win is that somebody's doing something that they enjoy, they're doing it well, and they feel good about it.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's more important than anything.
You just kind of took it to the root right there.
Mm-hmm.
Took it to the root. Okay, so you've given us some good information today on the Shorter Realtor. Do you have any advice for other brokers who might be listening or watching, or other agents looking to get their broker's license? Any advice for those guys?
If you're going to be a broker, be a broker. And that means you're there for support. You're not there to just collect paychecks. You're not there to have office hours and be like, don't bug me.
Wait. So brokers don't cash checks and break necks?
Some I think do.
Isn't that the only point of a broker?
If you're going to become a broker, it's work. A lot of people, they get into being an agent and they hear it's going to be really easy, right? And that's the thing, even if you're considering getting licensed, it's easy money, and then they find out that it's not. And a lot of times those people who are attracted to the easy money aspect of it and they find out it's not, they decide they're going to start a team or become a broker because that means they'll do less work. And that's just not the case. You do more, But if you love the job, if you love helping people, then you can be happy doing it. Is it stressful sometimes? Yeah. But it's also really fulfilling. And without the stress, I don't think the fulfilling parts would really be as worthwhile.
Yep. Highs aren't good unless you got some lows in there. Right?
Listen to yourself.
They're not worth appreciating if you're
and then just listen to yourself next time you come in here to talk to me about...
Yeah, I'm the worst. I come in the office all the time.
You are not the worst.
And I'm just anxious and all this stuff, but...
You're just a younger version of me and Matt wrapped into one neurotic person, so...
Yeah, maybe, maybe that's why I'm...
Seems a little bit.
Okay, well, that will be the end of today's episode, a conversation with the real estate broker. Got Keith Callister, our special guest.
Oh, I took your time way too long.
We'll see you next time. Like always, good people deserve good things.
Yeah.